YouTubers, Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. Welcome back for another action impactful video, guys. If you're living in the province of Alberta, go ahead and share this. I believe in Wexit. I believe in a lot of things that you guys are obviously behind. I'm behind too, 1 quadrillion%. And you guys, I don't know if you guys remember the video I did, so the whole Commonwealth could see. People in Australia, people in New Zealand, people in the United Kingdom, people in all over the United States and parts of Canada, about the Edmonton tent city. Who would have imagined that a prosperous, oil booming province with so much money that it could basically build a wall of $100 bills, a big stack, a huge wall on its border, you know, or in Western Canada's border, a huge wall if it had to, out of American $100 bills. But what is happening? The Canadian proper is getting shafted big time. And how are they getting shafted? Well, I'll show you what happened. It starts off with this little article here. 10 cities causing a growing concern for some Edmontonians. Okay, you know, it's October 11th. No problem. They're just talking about 10 cities, people having a really tough time finding a place that's safe, finding a place that's close to work, that they could tend. Believe it or not, a lot of people are employed too, and a lot of these people hold college degrees. Oh, yeah. And basically, they're cutting holes into different fencing areas and getting into, like, abandoned structure areas just to tent in so they could feel a bit safer. And I know that the Albertan government is probably doing what it can in this situation right now, but I know it's in the crosshairs with the federal government and all this other stuff that's happening. But I urge that they take care of the people, because a lot of these younger people, their parents and grandparents invested in this infrastructure and built Edmonton, basically. And this is the problem. A lot of them are getting, basically, my dad and granddad invested in building these streets and these homes and these and all this stuff and these factories and these companies, but we don't get to take part in it, which is a very scary thing. Now, okay, very harmless article here, you know, October 11th. Now, fast forward till November 1st. Today's date. Edmonton homeless encampments being removed. Removed. What is going on? So where are these people going to go? I'll tell you where these people are going to go. I got an email this morning. The scatteredness of Edmontonians causing havoc, or what was it? Causing havoc or sitting on major streets now, or other major streets in Edmonton downtown core. So what happened? Well, this morning, they're being removed. So let's watch a little bit of this flick here. There's no audio on this thing. So there it is, the 10 cities here. There's a guy talking.
It's ever been.
City, the despair concentrated to a point of significant worry.
Well, the last 6 months, it's been as worse as it's ever been.
Rob Stolarchuk's family business has been here since 1974. On Wednesday, for the first time ever, they locked the door during business hours out of caution after some homeless people started to wander in.
And it was pretty unnerving, so we felt to be safe, we just locked the door.
According to the city, the people in 10 cities are dealing with some of the most significant mental health and addiction challenges.
This is a big problem.
Encampments are coming down in a phased approach, with agencies also trying to connect people to supports. But what's needed, advocates argue, is permanent supportive housing. There was no new money.
You see, we didn't need permanent supportive housing for the longest time. Why? Because there were good paying jobs out there and people didn't get down on themselves and have to resort or turn to drugs. Right? A lot of times there was just, there was employment. That's what people kept people occupied, kept people productive. And when people kept productive, they felt good. They felt accomplished. They felt like they're doing something in their lives.
For housing in the provincial budget, the city was seeking $19 million this cycle.
And we need to continue to...
$19 million for affordable housing? You could buy 2 houses in Vancouver for $19 million. What the heck is going on here? Is this a joke?
Make our case that Edmonton has a good plan.
According to Councillor Walters, each homeless person can cost society between $75,000 and $100,000 each year, but housing with supports is only $35,000.
Isn't it cheaper to just invest more into small jobs, like smaller family-owned businesses, instead of investing in and bailing out corporations? Stop bailing out the Walmarts. Get them to start paying their fair share in taxes. Stop bailing out Amazon and all this other garbage that shut everybody down around them. Why don't they start investing $100,000 per person in small businesses, and you see how fast and quick in a heartbeat the economy, the real private sector economy, not the bullcrap public sector. Public sector means nothing. Public sector jobs mean nothing.
There's a moral case, there's an economic case, and so we were disappointed but not despaired. I think that we did get some signals that they'd be willing to consider this.
We do recognize that there's a clear need for this.
The minister.
So they're trying to figure out what's going on, but now with winter approaching, let's see what happens here. City of Edmonton crews moved in Friday morning, taking down a homeless encampment which has been growing on 95th Street north of the LRT tracks. The teardown is part of phased approach which started earlier this week. We've heard of other cities in the country who do something similar. Jackie Foord, who is a branch manager with social development with the city, told Global News. The overall process has started several weeks earlier, involving a multi-agency approach. People were assessed for things like their mental health requirements, potential social benefits, and housing before being told in advance of the encampment teardown. Throughout that process, we identified 50 people who wanted a place to live, Foord explained. So, major incidents expressed the concern about social disorder involving needles and urination to clean up every day. On 95th Street, Rock S has watched the encampment across his business grow as other sites were cleaned up. It gets difficult problem, he explained. Motioning on the sites, but this isn't the answer, clearly, he said, of the migration. The city continues to advocate for provincial cash for permanent supportive housing. No new money was made available in the recent provincial budget. So ever since we went green a few years back, they started closing down all the mental institutions or facilities to help people get back on track, right? Unfortunately, that got scrubbed and that money was allocated to other things, right? And there's lots going on, man. The Community and Social Services Minister indicates the province is working with community agencies and suggests the limited resources available could be leveraged into other partners. But no. It can't be partners. It can't be partners. It's got to be a community grassroots society that puts this together. Community grassroots, no partners. Because they're going to start charging $100,000 per person to help them out. No. You actually get some shutdown facilities. Get people in the city that are actually proactive, that don't want to line their pockets with money, that actually want to see their city change for the best. And then leave them the money, let them organize it properly through a small board that they create, of homeless people to organize and get things back on track. I'd rather do that than put it into partners. That's why I'm writing back from experts in the field to help me determine what it's going to look like. So this is from our friends over at Global News. I just want to weigh in with my own opinion on what's happening with Edmonton. The Canadian proper is getting a good kick in the pants. A lot of Canadian proper have been bought out from their own cities. They're moving and remigrating into other cities because the affordability levels in Vancouver and Toronto are out of control. So people are moving to Winnipeg, Alberta, like different areas, New Brunswick, because they can't afford, they have to save 30 years, 25 to 30 years to afford a down payment on a home. That's how bad it's gotten. Anyone that does own a home is house broke because they tapped into the equity into their homes like an ATM machine to eat. So it's getting out of hand right now, and you're seeing it firsthand right here. And a lot of these people's parents and grandparents fought in wars and help construct the infrastructure for these people to work in these offices and to be, you know what I'm saying? I think the approach is less government and allocation of funds by taxpayers to be automatically put in to a fund for a grassroots, proper, managed, transparent board that's actually going to start getting facilities. When do we need these facilities by? I need it by 2 hours. Sir, it's going to take us 3 weeks to go through I need it by 2 hours. Did you hear me? Sir, these facilities are not... I need it by 2 hours. We need someone like that on board that's going to start pulling things and getting things to work. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below.